No, a little bit late, I'm afraid, going back on the air because we started with Mirador Television again this morning, and we did 15 minutes of fairly spirited, if rustic, broadcasting. We're a little bit better, I think. We're feeling a bit more spirited now for radio because we have been able to soften the vocal cords, as it were, ranting and raving on television. Well, we're a little softer on radio. We're actually not quite as fierce as we are on television because it's a softer medium and we have a little longer to go. And all in all, we try hard to ease you into the morning as opposed to burst you out of bed with television. Just a couple of things is the first Super Bowl ever that was played way back, I think it was 1966-67, and the Green Bay Packers won that one, but I actually saw it. So I'm quite interested that now it's up to 50-something or other, that I was, in a funny sort of way, felt privileged to have seen the very first one. I didn't realise its importance at the time. I was invited around to somebody's house, as I recall, and in fact I was involved with a rugby club at the time, and they decided to watch this very special American football show, and around I went, and we had a very jolly good time. I'm not sure that anybody ever thought that it was going to become the extravaganza that it is and to go on for as long as it has, but give the Americans an opportunity to make some money, and they most certainly will. The weather, it's 7 degrees today, which is a bit better than it has been. Not quite as cold, but the only trouble is it's going to rain all week, and it's a bit blowy out there by the look of things. So be careful. Even though it's not snow, it's not ice, it's not going to be very pleasant. So when you go out, be prepared for it. But if you're thinking of an umbrella, watch out, because it's the sort of wind that turns them inside out. Normally, I think that we would start to have a little bit of music at this stage, just to soften up the morning. I was a bit late, so, we've been going about 5 minutes. So just to get you tuned for me, let's see what we've got, and perhaps we'll start at the bottom and we'll work up. There's one here called the Premier with the United States Band. So let's see what that's all about, because it might just be a bit of fun. Wow, was that spirited? That should get us all going in the morning. Oh, well, that was the United States Marine Band, and boy, did they really get going on that. Some cornet player, wasn't it, or trumpet player? Well, makes me feel a little bit better. Once again, we got a little bit of weather for you, and it's not very good. 7 degrees, rain all week. Mind you, that's the chance of rain. In some instances, it's a 50% chance, others up to 80% chance. Today, it's going to be a bit blowy, a bit wet, not at all pleasant. Monday, all sorts of problems, of course. And, of course, the one thing about me, as you can tell, is I get myself into terrible fixes because I lead with the chin. The local council don't like at all what I'm doing or what I'm saying. And as a consequence, they've started to sort of really fire their shots, but in such a way that it just shows their complete inefficiency, the completely daft way that they operate, and what bullying they are. And that's the thing that really bothers me, is if they're trying to bully me, and they're not going to, because I don't care. I mean, to be quite honest with you, if we're going back to court, let's go back to court. But this time the issues will be far more serious, and if they try to waylay me and stop me, as they did the last time, before we get in front of the magistrate, is tough, because I'm going to, first of all, ask for a live camera in the courtroom, and secondly, my defence is going to be spirited, but also I'm going to sue them, because I figure that with what they've actually come back as a reason for their low prices, supporting local people, is no wonder we've got bloody homeless people on the streets. Nobody is actually anybody is going to rent a room with the rates that they pay. It's absolutely crackers. It's crackers. And here people are saying, oh dear, the homeless on the streets. Well, some people are unfortunate enough not to be able to afford the rent. But I tell you, they can't afford the rent with the money that the local council is giving them. Farcical, laughable, just damn silly. Well, both on Mirador Television, which started again this morning, for those of you who didn't catch it and who do listen to this, we're going to, we actually fired the opening rounds, and we are going to go each morning now into the brave world of fighting the council, because they are the big guys. They can bring up all sorts of guns to have a go at me. I'm the little guy, but it's going to be David and Goliath. And Goliath actually won. I don't care whether I win or not, but what I do want to do is to bring out into the open what's going on in that council, because it's very covert. A lot of things go on that we can't find out about. And that is unacceptable in a free society. And that's one of the worries that I've had about the fact that we're in the EU. It's not a free society. I'm not saying whether I'm for Brexit or against. As a matter of fact, I've got a very mixed approach to it. But the one thing that secrecy does not work, it shouldn't be in an open society. Sure, one or two things that should be discussed in secret, but that doesn't mean to say 90% of it, that their councils are just using an excuse of cabinet. Oh, cabinet. Oh, well done. Cabinet and chair. For God's sake, can't we get back to committee meetings and chairman, chairwoman and chairperson or whatever? But chair is an inanimate object, and if you think you're fooling us by getting us to talk to a chair which won't answer back, don't be so damn silly. We've got an election coming up, and I hope that we're all going to take a very close look at what we've got in terms of governance. At one time we didn't care because we were fat and we were sassy. Well, a lot of things are happening now, both at the national level, international level and the local level, that means that life isn't going to be so good. And perhaps what we'll start to do is to take our role as voter more seriously than we have in the past. And that doesn't just mean casting a vote. What it means is questioning what these councils are doing, both the councillors, but particularly the executive. And of course, as one of my insiders from the council said, when I said there was a scrutiny committee, they said, oh, the councillors just, the staff, the executive just twist the councillors around their little finger. Is what they don't want them to know, they don't know. And that means that we don't know. We've got some half-decent councillors, but the whole thing has got to be reformed. And dear old Boris Johnson said that the other day in one of his speeches, although he was aiming at Theresa, I guess, but nonetheless, he made a great deal of sense when he said we've got to have the root and branch look and reform of our various forms of government. And he wasn't talking about taking democracy away. So I think if somebody is going to reform or try to reform some of the silly things about our national government, and remember we are in a constitutional monarchy without a constitution. Isn't that wonderful? Only in Britain can we do that, a constitutional monarchy without